Hi, it's Miss Herkler again, and this is your art class in review of your elements and principles of art and design. On our last video, we reviewed line. He did some straight lines, he did some curvy lines. He did a line that connects, or making a mark from one point to another point is the line. And then you did some curvy line, and I questioned some of you about the idea of the circle being a line, and it's a shape, but it also connects one point to the other point. Something that we discussed in class is that when I make shapes, I like to use a very light hand with my pencil until I'm ready to really make a stronger mark. And I encourage you to do the same thing. And here is where we took the idea of the square and then turned it into a cube. And here is where I'm showing you, go in there and put my second line, and I press a little harder with the pencil. And so then I get something that is a little bit stronger, and I could then decide right here to shadow and shade that in. And that kind of closes up the box. So for this sketchbook prompt, or if you have a piece of paper with no lines, or if you have any paper and a pencil, I encourage you to just try this shape and try to create a box that's open. You're gonna put something in there. An open box. Because that goes to the next statement in the elements. A shape. So it's not just a line, it's not just a simple shape, but we take it to the next level about the form. And something we discussed in class is that I am encouraging you to think about 2D or two-dimensional to then 3D. To make something three-dimensional so you could put something in there, or it makes your artwork pop if that's what you choose to do. And so we're going over some of the basic rules on trying to sketch and doodle in our sketchbook to get our pencils warmed up and ready to go. So I will make these videos from time to time. I have a studio, took my dining room table, pushed it against the window, got some lighting equipment, and I also have a tripod here, which is unfortunately in the way, and I'll figure out how to do that. And like I said, when I make mistakes and when things don't go exactly as I planned, you know what? These are uncertain times, and we're all learning. Even as your teacher, I am also learning. And so I found these neat little shapes in the closet trying to clean up. Since this is my new space, and for some of you in 6th grade, this is your new school as well. And I want you to think about these shapes. On your next page, I want you to think about space. You're gonna put a few boxes. You're gonna put 6 boxes on your next page. 6 boxes. And in these 6 boxes, you're going to think about the next elements of space, and texture. Something that really gives us the idea of space is the outdoors, right? There's a horizon line, there's a vanishing point, orthogonal lines. Remember, you only need that for Jeopardy and the SATs later when you get to high school. But there are these lines that go back to that vanishing point. In here, I want you to think about a bouncing ball or the shape that is going to show up in your box. And you can use different shapes in your 6 boxes. It's okay. But here's what I'm going to show you. That with perspective, when the ball is far away, it's smaller. And so watch what happens. When the ball is close to you, it's giant. So we're going to do that in 2-dimensional and try to get it to 3D. So here, and then if the ball bounces here, it's a little larger. If it bounces here, it's a little larger. And when it bounces off the road or the page over here, it's pretty large. And then we're going to try to put some shadows in here and try to get it really round. And to think about that. Oh, run away. This one has to be larger. This one has to be a little larger. And then maybe you can have some teeny tiny ones way back here. So it's up to you. Get your bouncing ball through there. And then as you're playing with shapes, in class we did a cylinder. I want you to think about the cone shape, because these are all of the building blocks. And then of course, I want you to think about your box again. And then the same thing, I want you to think about putting in some lines to give it some shape, some space. This could be a cylinder, it could be a cup. Are you gonna fill it in? Could we flip this over and make an ice cream cone? It's up to you. And so here, these are your choices. You're going to put in a horizon line, a vanishing point, put some shapes in here that bring it to the horizon line. And then in here, on the last box, I want you to think about texture. And with texture, you can have cross-hatching lines, you can have dots, but I want you to think about it in terms of design and try to think about textures. I'm going to put some videos and YouTubes out there for your interest, and I want you to think about texture and enjoy the process of filling up this little box with all kinds of texture, because texture could also be hair and fur. Texture could also be feathers. So it's up to you, but I want you to play with the idea of texture, and I want you to play with this little box and just fill it up with different kinds of textures and marks. Can't make a mistake, can't go wrong. You're just playing with your pencil and with your tools. And if you didn't get your materials, let me know. I will mail them to you, I'll get them to you somehow. I see that a lot of 8th graders have their materials there, but all of you 6th graders have your materials. And if you don't, let me know.
Peace out, art babies.